Hello and welcome to the video. This is a video, a first look, I guess, at this model here. This is the new updated version of a model that I looked at a while ago. This is the ZOHD Dart XL, but this one is it's been called the enhanced version. I've seen it listed as. You can tell it's the enhanced one very clearly because there's a number of updates, and the obvious one is there's now a GPS pocket. Interestingly, that's where I put my GPS when I put a vector in my other one, but there are a number of changes and I want to kind of show you what those are because I've managed to get a pre-production unit in here. And caveat, this is a pre-production unit. There is a couple of differences from the production units that I'm being told about, but I thought what I'll do is kind of let me run through and actually show you what the differences are, because the original version is still a fantastic model. This one has made it even better. So let me jump on the bench and show you what's changed. It's worthwhile talking about the unboxing experience. The box is huge, but then the model is quite big, so that's not a big surprise. And rather than have all the separate pieces rattling around inside one big box, ZOHD, just like they did with the Drift, when it arrives, everything is in separate little boxes and covered in bubble wrap and beautifully well wrapped. So in the first box we have the main fuselage itself with a little bit of protective foam at the back just to stop the motor from getting bounced about. In the second big box at the back there are both the vertical stabilizers. I'll show you how they fit in a minute. They're very cute in that you just slide them into place and you do the twist thing at the bottom to lock them into position, and under those are the two wings. Now the way the wings come, by default they have the standard linkages on them installed from the servos onto the control surfaces that are nicely supported with a nice carbon fiber rod. The ball link upgrades are in a separate packet. Now I did speak to ZOHD about that, and it appears that in some of the more humid areas where these things get shipped to, if they're sat on reseller shelves for a long amount of time, then there can be small amounts of corrosion on the ferrous part, so not the brass parts of things like ball links, but on the actual linkages themselves. So what they're doing is they're shipping them separately in a little baggie so that they don't get any surface rust while they're sat on a reseller shelf. And the holes are drilled in both the servo horn and the control horn on the control surface, so that that's a pretty easy job to do. Last box has the pieces in. There are the adapters for the different type of cameras. Quite nicely it has actually printed on which is which. Some stickers. You have those ball links that I've just been talking about, shipped in a separate baggie to protect them, so you're going to have to install those. It would have been nice to have those installed out of the gate. It just slows you down. The air gates that need to be installed at the front of the wings, just like the original, along with some Velcro and a single prop. Always sad that you don't get more than one prop. I actually installed a folding prop on my original. In terms of putting it together, there's only really two things you need to do. One is install those ball links, and the second is to snap off each of the air gates and to use a little bit of foam safe glue and push them into their positions on the leading edge of the wing. There's lots of debate when the original one came out about whether or not these do anything, and having played with quite a few of these over the last year, I think they do. They make it very, very stable at low speeds. This wing can go pretty quickly, but it's also beautifully well behaved when you're just floating around too. So let me show you all the things that have changed on the model. First one is under the back hatch. There is a new motor mount, a little bit tougher. Now that's actually going to be black in the final version, but that should provide a little bit more strain relief. And also there are magnets here for the back hatch. The original one was held with screws. The deck for the flight controller is absolutely massive now. It goes right the way back to the little shelf that the ESC can be mounted on, and that is a lot bigger than the previous one and very welcome, particularly if you're going to install something like a Maytech flight controller that's a little bit bigger. There is a huge amount of room in the nose, and also some carbon spar reinforcement. We've got the standard camera setup like it had before, and then you have the carbon rods running along, and that is a really nice touch. The battery bays in these are just crazily big. I do like the way that they have also put the GPS above here. Again, it's the same ZOHD style as always. It's a little recess with a cable exit at the back already cut, and this is like a little plastic piece that just snaps over the top. The carbon is all over the place on here. I don't think the original one was particularly weak, but they have made the nose a lot stronger, and there's also carbon fibre reinforcements in other places that you wouldn't expect too, like at the sides of this rear hatch, for example. I do like this rear hatch. The way that it pulls air through is fantastic, and the way they put magnets on here makes it so much easier to get in to take the wings on and off. Ball linkages, obviously, under the wings that you're going to have to install. They're a new addition for this particular version. These are nice quality ball linkages as well, not like some of the things that we've been looking at recently. I've installed them on this side of the control horn. In the pictures, they're in the other side, but they seem to work really nicely. The same attachment of all of the different pieces and the skids underneath as well to protect it in landing. Probably worthwhile putting a little bit of tape over those skids just to give you a little bit more stuff to rub through if you're going to be landing on anything apart from soft grass. The aerofoil has been changed as well. Now I'm only going to be able to comment on that when we get it flying. And the only other thing I'll mention is there is the usual sticker that goes over the front. There is room at the front here for different run cam and GoPro styles. If you're not using one of the big GoPros that needs the square access hole, then you can get it covered. The way the wings go on and take off is exactly the same as the original one. A nice 6-pin solid connector that just pushes home, and a big kind of locating lug at the back. The fit on this new version does feel a lot nicer. And once the wing's home, you just need to secure it with a little screw. Again, just like the original version. So if I just push this on, it just snaps home and it just feels very positive. And that's why I like these little magnets at the back. You can just very quickly get in here to just pop the screw into place, which does mean that this could break down for transport into lots of much smaller parts. So in summary, there it is. Exactly the same good stuff that the original one had. I've known lots of pilots who have had these, including myself, and they are wonderful things to fly. Tons and tons of room for batteries, even more now with that enhanced battery bay. It's stronger with the carbon rods. Interesting to see that actually I hadn't noticed, but the slots were cut for the carbon in the kind of V1. Is that what you call them? But now that's there. GPS pocket's very welcome, but again, just be a little bit careful. It's only for the BN220 style GPSs will fit in there, or the Copilot from ZOHD stuff will fit in there. Something like an M8N, the bigger Puck style GPSs that I personally quite like, that isn't going to fit in that hole, so maybe blank it off and stick it on the top. I do also like the fact that the back part is now removable. There is reinforcement in the cover, which is very welcome. The magnets feel a lot stronger as well, and there's huge amounts of room in here for your flight controller, and this is a wonderful model to pop a flight controller in, whether that's iNav on a Maytech flight controller or RD Plane on a Maytech or a Pixhawk or something else. And a couple of other last things that actually haven't been listed in the official documentation. First of all is the foam actually does feel different. The foam on this feels a lot tighter than on the original version, so I think they've tweaked that a little bit. The other thing is that this is now a 40 amp ESC. Some of you might have spotted that in the close-up pictures. It was a 30 amp in the original version. Now I haven't had an issue with that, but having a 40 amp does mean that even at full tilt, you're not pushing the ESC anywhere near maximum. That's going to help with cooling and reliability as well. So I'll put a link down below if you want to go and have a look at this. If you've just ordered the V1, I wouldn't get too upset. These changes are really nice, but what all it's done is taken a very good model just to that next little level. A big thumbs up from me. This is a cracking model, and what it looks like they've really done is they have taken all of the goodness that they put into the Talon GT that I looked at a while ago and kind of put all that features and all that goodness into this. So this and its sister ship of the Talon GT are kind of very similar in features and functionality. Thank you for watching my video and watching right to the very end. If you want to find out what I'm currently working on, you can follow me on social media by searching for Painless360 in the usual places. If you'd like to become part of the inner circle, then you can become a Patreon. Details are in the description and you get lots of additional benefits. Check out the playlist section on the channel too. I organise all of my videos into playlists and it's called something like Introduction to or for Beginners. All of the content is aimed so that you can start at the very beginning and it teaches you that subject, starting with simple principles and moving up to teach you everything you need to know.